of organizers UNHCR, IRC, DRC, and WFP, whose support has been consistent and invaluable. As long as refugees are on that they are treated with dignity, provided with necessary support, considered and even involved in national development plans in order to facilitate their successful integration. Kenya is also a signatory to the Global Compact for safe, orderly, and regular migration, which commits us to involve all relevant stakeholders at the national, county, and community levels in ensuring the implementation of obligations to facilitate human mobility. Outreach program on migration is a welcome effort to prioritize the mainstreaming of migrant interests and human mobility considerations into national and county national development agendas. Thorough stakeholder engagement is vital for promoting greater understanding to facilitate such mainstreaming of migrant populations in our programs. I therefore commend the IOM for the outreach effort and encourage to cover technical assistance and capacity building in order to appropriately empower all stakeholders. I am delighted to see that the report also covers a very helpful detail, the existential threat of our time, that is climate change, which is a pressing matter of human safety and human security. Climate change causes extreme climate phenomena and erratic weather, which occasion drought and famine on one end and flooding and waterborne epidemics on the other. These catastrophic events are direct or forced human mobility with potential to set off or escalate conflict. We have designated, and its foremost priority is to support the government in formulating policies and implementing strategies to address the adverse effects of climate and, of course, the climate refugee phenomena. I want to say that, as the report rightly indicates, climate change cannot be tackled by one country alone, and therefore a regional approach is an imperative. And as a result of that, I will be hosting between September 4th and September 6th the Africa Climate Action Summit that will bring the continent together so that we can make our contribution as a continent to this very important debate on the existential threat that humanity faces because of climate change. We have taken the position that though we are victims, we have made the least contribution to climate change. Victimhood will not define the position of Africa because we want to be active players and we want to contribute our ideas in solving this existential threat to humanity. And hopefully we should be able to make our contribution in terms of ideas because we believe that climate change presents an opportunity to the African continent to be able to leverage the assets that we have, the huge energy resources, geothermal, solar, wind, hydro, huge resources, and our mineral resources, together with our growing market of close to 2.5 billion people by 2050, and also our youth dividend that we can provide the labor for the globe. And that conversation is the conversation we want to have. In fact, we should be least worried about the current migration trends. We know there is a problem of migration to Europe through the Mediterranean. I dare say that's a very temporary problem. Migration will be in the opposite direction shortly. It won't be long. I must take this opportunity to congratulate my brother, elder brother at that, the President of Uganda, His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, for pioneering the landmark Kampala Ministerial Declaration on Migration, Environment and Climate Change, which was signed by 15 states, including Kenya, in July last year. It is my pleasure to reaffirm the government of Kenya's full support to the declaration. As I have said, I will be pleased to host in Kenya the Africa Climate Summit in September this year. This is expected to help Africa solidify its common continental position ahead of the UN General Assembly's Climate Action Summit and COP27, and to secure concrete actions towards a just transition to an African era of clean, green industrialization. I am very clear in my mind that Africa can make a huge contribution to this debate. I also want to say that as a continent, it is our responsibility to deal with the challenges that exist in our region. We are happy as Kenya to participate in stabilizing Eastern DRC with the challenges of conflict in DRC. We are working with our brothers and sisters in Somalia to ensure that even as the drawdown of the troops that is expected by next year, we have a concrete plan on how Somalia is going to move on as a state. And also, many of us are seized with the challenge that we have in Sudan at the moment. And as a region, and as a continent, and as a people, our message to the generals in Sudan is clear and unequivocal. They have no business whatsoever destroying the hard-earned years, many years of developing Sudan. The bombing of buildings, hospitals, and infrastructure is unacceptable. Those generals have no business, they have no reason destroying a country that has been built painstakingly by the people of this continent, by our brothers and sisters in Sudan, and we will hold them accountable. They have absolutely no reason to destroy people's business, people's livelihoods, cause unnecessary chaos and mayhem when the quarrel can be solved by dialogue, by a conversation, and we are determined to stop our continent from the slide into military rule. This continent is ready, and we are prepared as the people of this continent to build our democratic institutions and to get the people of this continent to choose the government they want. the era of military rule, the era of dictatorships is behind us. And we want to send a very clear signal to our brothers in Sudan that this continent will not entertain any military rule in Sudan. The transition that had been painstakingly worked on by many stakeholders, that was disrupted by saboteurs and spoilers at the tail end on just one issue of the integration of the RSF and the SAF. We cannot allow a small disagreement to take away the hard-earned gains, the painstaking agreements that have been reached. And that is why today there is a meeting of IGAD. We have been building a coalition of many partners across the globe to stop the slide in Sudan. And Kenya, we will be playing our role because we owe it as a duty of responsibility to our brothers and sisters in Sudan as members of our continent. And that is our position. I want to thank IOM and my good brother here, Mohammed, for being one of the front runners in supporting our common effort in building a sustainable future for all and for ensuring that the mobility dimensions are well. I commend the authors, contributors, editorial and production teams for the thorough work that has made this fine publication, The State of Migration in East and the Horn of Africa, possible. I invite the relevant policymakers in the region to use the report's analysis and policy suggestions to enhance economic development and advance regional integration through their human mobility dimensions. It is now my pleasure to declare the report on the state of migration in East and the Horn of Africa launched. Thank you very much. And God bless you. Asanteni sana.
One more round of applause for His Excellency for that wonderful speech. And at this point, Your Excellency, with your permission, would like